All right, perfect. So that's loading. Give me 1 second as it loads. All right, perfect. And then I'm getting ready to put this in the group and we're gonna get started. All right, so that's there. And then, all right, perfect. Hi, okay, look, can y'all believe that a quarter of the year is like basically gone? Time is flying, 2022 is flying. And the first thing I wanna ask y'all is, have y'all still been writing y'all goals every day? I need the honesty, okay?
Yes.
Yes,
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 These
ma'am.
ma'am.
are 5
Yes.
goals
yes,
every
ma'am.
morning.
Yep.
I see Dominus keep putting his head down right here. So that means you ain't been doing it. I need everybody to do it because that consistency matters, right? I was having a conversation with one of my friends the other day, and he was like, the thing that I admire about you the most is like most people just happen to come by success. Like they will, meet somebody or by happenstance, they can just like not get lucky, but in a sense, come across people or situations that just come into alignment and it's like, okay, like this is a like opportunity and they become successful. But like when you work on yourself and what you build day by day and you know why you're doing it, and you just keep speaking those affirmations, I promise you everything always comes into fruition. So I encourage you guys to get back on writing your goals every single day if you fell off or if you haven't been doing it, because remember, it's you against you, okay? And that discipline of where you're trying to go is you against you. And that's something that's so simple as like it takes no more than 5 minutes. You
And
know
a
what I'm
minor
saying?
structure vision boards.
Yeah. So look, I wanted to check in because remember, we a quarter into the year, but think about how much more time we have to go. So if you gave up on the goals, get back up on the goals. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not what happens. Like so many people think that people are successful overnight. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was super depressed and in my prayer closet and stuff like that, like trying to get to where I am now, it was stuff that nobody else saw. And it was just my work ethic day in and day out and day in and day out. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here, which means that none of you guys would have even been in my course because there would be no course because I would have never been profitable because I would have given up on myself. So y'all all have the blueprint, okay? All right. So come on. Okay. I need y'all to carry this baton. Okay. All right. So let's go into the trades. Okay. Let me share my screen. All right. So first things first. Okay. Let me just say that I'm so just like happy. Not happy, but I mean, of course, I'm always happy. God woke me up this morning, but I just mean like, GJ just did everything that I said it was gonna do last week. So I'm super excited just because I mean, I love trading. I love trading. I love trading. It's like the easiest money that you could ever get once you master yourself. And that's always key. And I always try not to sugarcoat that because it's something that's so important. I know even like we talked about last week, like some people just get in trades too early or they don't wait on their setups or they don't wait up on those entries. Like remember, the setups are always there, but you have to be patient in entering them. Okay. We do not chase the market. As Omar said, and I'm always quote him because it was just one of the most beautiful quotes. Omar and Sheikah, they had two beautiful quotes that always stick with me. Omar said that he never chases the market. He always wait for the market to come to him. That was just like, even though it sounds simple, it was so profound. Okay. And then Sheikah said that you get to know yourself between you and the silence of your charts. Okay. So that's why journaling is important. That's why all this stuff is important because if you entered too early or if you got in a trade too early, you need to understand why you got in that trade too early. And if you did not like go by your rules, you need to see what inside of you made you break those rules. Is it greed? Is it impulsiveness? And then identify that, because the only way you can fix something is by identifying it first. All right, everybody with me? Okay, so let's go into it. So I wrote in the chat, the chart talk group, a while back or earlier this week after this played out to the TP that I gave out 2 weeks ago, to go watch the video from last week as well as the video from 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks ago, I'm just going to recap before I go into the trades for this week. 2 weeks ago, of course, I had a buy for GU, and I told everybody wait till this divergence finishes up. All right. Which was literally, I think around Thursday last week or Thursday the week before this past week, we had the break and retest that happened here. And then we had this buy up into like this little first TP here that broke and retested, hit our negative 61.8, which was perfect. Yep. I think that was Thursday because I remember the shot down like Friday. I know it happened later on in the week. And then this past Sunday, well, last Sunday, we were in this consolidation right here. And we talked about being at this weekly foundation level, which as we all know, monthly foundation levels, which is the solid line. As we all know, our foundation levels always mean consolidation. All right. So the week before last, I gave the overall move, which was overall TP hitting this pink area here, which last week it ended up hitting it. I think this was, I don't know, what's today? So it hit it 4 days ago. Yeah, 4 days ago. All right. And so this is just something that's so important because it's always like, even somebody asked me about another trade last week. I don't even remember the trade they asked me about, but I didn't even look at it because I wasn't budging on my analysis that I have for this. And I think that's something that some people do in trading often. Like if the trade isn't hurrying up to play out the way they want it to play out, they move on to the next pair and they're like, oh my God, like this is taking too long. Let me go move on to the next thing. Stick to your analysis and stick to your bias, because overall, since I gave out this trade, literally this shot up for 301 pips in 8 days, which isn't a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? So think about, and I don't know what your lot sizes are at, and I don't know what your account balances are at, but even when I talked about Ayana last week, how she made that $1,000, and I talked about she didn't over leverage, because I literally looked at her position sizes. She didn't over leverage at all. What she did was scale in her positions. And then once she was in profit, she placed another position. Once she was in profit some more, she placed another position, right? So she never over leveraged her account. She just continued to compound her account, which is something I always talk about. Continuing to make money, not gambling. This is not gambling. And if you want to make money fast, this is not for you. All right. This is, again, waiting for your setups, executing your setups, and then letting your trades play out. 8 days, 301 pips, super easy. You know what I'm saying? And if you trade gold or US 30 and you're at that level where you're like getting that type of money, them 300 pips happen overnight. All right. But remember, especially for everybody that's in an automated course and my students, well, my group and private students know this off tops, but if you're in my automated course, I want you guys to really get good on trading currency before you touch anything else, because this is the reason why. One of my students, Maria, literally retired her mom off of trading EJ and EU alone. It's not what you trade, it's how consistent you are. And once you have that consistency, you up those lot sizes bigger and bigger and bigger. And then once you up them, that is, really, that's everything. Okay. All right. So where we are right now, as you guys see, we are literally back at this consolidation. So we had talked about last week, we said, okay, this was going to consolidate a little bit, look to see how this was going to react, whatever the case may be. And then the next push after this break at the top, which was this previous level of resistance over here, look for it to hit this. All right. So this was the TP that I gave out, I don't know, like I said, 2 weeks ago, right? And it was literally just because this was the last level of support that was there. And I didn't foresee it shooting like super, super high at that point in time, just because we just now getting into this momentum of like this big, super bullish push. But this was like all that I was looking for at that point. And as you guys see, it literally came to it perfectly and then pushed right back down into this consolidation. I want all of you guys to get to the point where you're able to read the market like this. Like people say, oh, you can't read the market, you can't read the market. Yes, the hell you can. And I am a witness. Y'all see this, y'all are witnesses to it. Y'all see this happen in real lifetime every single week before it happens. You know what I'm saying? So you can 100% read the market, but you have to know the market in order to read it. All right. So where we are right now, sad to say, but I'm still looking at this consolidating for a little bit. Really all right here, we're at the top of this consolidation. We're sitting on this monthly level. So if this smaller part breaks, look for it to push back down to here. But I don't want you guys to like jump the gun on this just because it's not the cleanest trade. It's not the cleanest setup. Like if you're not in from the top of this, then I mean, it's not something that is like, I would say the best trade for the week, but I do see this selling here once this kind of breaks out of this consolidation. All right. So again, we have to break out of the consolidation first. And remember the importance of just always understanding where you are in the market, because when people get antsy and like try to hurry up and get money from the market or whatever the case may be, if you understand where you are in the market, you're not going to have that anxiety because you understand where you are. If I'm right here, like the reason I wasn't tripping on this GU, after I had this first entry right here, we talked about this entry right here, and then we talked about this trend line bounce when that news had came out. This was the Fed minutes on that Wednesday. Remember? And the market had literally pushed down. We talked about this last week. This was the Fed minutes, the Wednesday before this past Wednesday. And then price pushed down here, literally tested this trend line perfectly, shot up to our TP1, again, breaking this first resistance level, and then came up to our negative 61.8, which we all know, all right, is our TP2. This was a TP2 on minor structure. So then again, price reversed, pushed back down, and then we consolidated because we were at this monthly level. All right. After that, consolidated. Again, this past week, this is when we had this push to our overall TP that we were expecting and talking about. I also went over the DXY last week just because, and we were right here actually, because we were looking at this little whole trend line structure here last week. And then we talked about like price, once it respected that trend line, how literally, okay, we were looking for this push down, then for price to push up to this negative 27 up here, retesting this whole trend line area. Y'all remember that? Okay. So this pushed up to the negative 27, then shot back down. And then basically that pushed back down was like literally price pushing up on GU, hitting that pink area, and then going right back into consolidation. So y'all know how we see that consolidation on GU. We literally have consolidation on the DXY as well. Y'all see that? All right. So again, I'm looking for GU to sell a little bit after that consolidation. I'm going to draw another trend line at the top of this DXY right here. Now, when it comes to drawing multiple trend lines, the reason I say I never delete a trend line is because this trend line that we have right here is still very valid from the standpoint that we have our 0.1, 0.2, draw that into the futures. So just because it breaks doesn't mean it's no longer valid, because that can be a support level somewhere in the future. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not going to delete it. I'm going to keep it there for reference. But as far as this one at the top, this is one that we can now draw that's clean, because now we have 0.1, 0.2, and then now we have this 0.3 that formed this week once we had this consolidation, and then here. So as we see right now, even this whole 1 hour candle that's forming as we're on this call, this 8 o'clock candle, we're at the top of this little trend line bounce right here. So what you want to see is, and this will kind of give you insight to, okay, like what we're looking to happen for this week. What you want to see is either rejection or a break of this trend line. If you see a break and retest of this trend line, then you can see, like if you see a break and retest of this trend line to go further up, then you can see a further fall on GU. Does that make sense? Does it? But again, where GU is, like, it's just, I mean, we're at this level of support right here. Something that I did see that one of my students actually pointed out, Omar actually, was USDCAD. he talks about US, or he sent it to me like earlier. And I haven't actually, like, I've been so heavy on GU, EU, and gold lately that I haven't traded USDCAD in, like, as y'all see, these little mass markups over here, okay? But he pointed out this buy on USDCAD that's coming, and I do like the setup. We have a lot of divergence here, but as you guys see, it's bearish momentum a little bit, and we just now come into this weekly level, all right? And I'm on a 4-hour right now. So we have this bearish candle right here. We have some exhaustion right here, but if I go into like the 1 hour and minor structure here, we start to see this little, well, this has literally happened since the market opened. We had this little minor baby little push-up gap right here, and then the price is like going up. Now, what I would say about USDCAD is USDCAD can be very sporadic. All right, I'm gonna always have a love-hate relationship with USDCAD just because it's not in any of the majors that I trade. Like, I typically, as y'all know, always trade EU, GU, GJ, no, yeah, EU, GU, EJ, or GJ for my currency pairs, and then gold mostly, right? And US 30. But those are like the main ones that I stick by. But USDCAD was actually the very first pair that I learned on, like back in 2017, 2018. So even though the Canadian dollar isn't something that I study, it's just like I always just like look at USDCAD here and there. And then because he had brought it to my attention, I did look at it, and I do like the setup. There's a lot of divergence right here. This broke structure, but it only broke because what? I want you guys to tell me. Come on.
The negative 23, like the continuing. No.
Yes, that's one, but what's the other? That's actually good. Whoever said that, Jay, I think Jay said that.
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't want people on YouTube to really know about all of that. But that's why I don't have a fib on there, which is that's 100% accurate. But also, this is a weekly foundation level. So remember, anytime you're near those levels, don't just look for price to reverse. Like, if somebody would have just said, oh, this is divergence right here, I'm just about to hop in for a buy, they're going to get smacked because they don't understand, again, where we just talked about on GU. Where are you in the market? Do you see what I'm saying? Where are you in the market? That's the most important thing. When you know where you are, it's like a guide. As I always talk about, and I've mentioned this before, if somebody dropped all of us in the middle of South Dakota, we're going to be lost as hell because we're not going to know where we are, right? If you understand where you are, you will always understand where you're going. So,
hey, Jess.
I
got a question. How does the dollar index match up with your other pairs? Obviously, you go to the dollar index. How does that correlate with the other pairs?
It's typically doing the opposite of what the other pairs are doing. If it's the base, or if it's the quote. So if I'm trading GJ, or I'm sorry, not GJ, if I'm trading GU or EU, then, and I'm looking like for a sell on the DSY, then I'm typically looking for a buy on GU or EU. But don't go by that alone. Okay, because you never trade in the dollar index alone. I use it as a reference, but I don't use it as the only indicator. Always make sure you have your breaks and retests to confirm everything. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So this is the cleanest trend line that I would draw right here on this like 1 hour structure. Let me make it blue. And again, I haven't marked this up in a whole while. So I want to actually, I should have did a top-down analysis on it, but because we're approaching this whole weekly level, you see over here, we have this weekly, and this is just by me all eyeballing it. I can already tell, like, yeah, like this getting ready for a strong buy. Again, don't enter it too soon, but if you understand minor structure, you can draw a minor trend line coming from like here and waiting on that break and retest. And then if you well, actually I'm still on the 1 hour, but if you really understand minor structure and you're in the course, then drop down to like, well, no, because this is too steep. I wouldn't draw a trend line on this structure right here. So yeah, the safest thing is to wait. Like, once this comes here, you'll probably have some rejection just because this will be like a minor level of resistance. So like this support will be a minor level tested as resistance. That'll probably end up being a trend line bounce right here. Look to see once price gets here, if it's gonna push back down to this weekly level. Do you see what I'm saying? So let me just draw it out. Once price gets here, ooh, like that, all right. Once price gets there, all right, I would say set an alert on your trend lines now, though, just so you're aware of where you are in the market. Like Omar said, wait for the market to come to you. Once price gets here, look to see, okay, do we have a lot of bullish momentum or do we have some exhaustion there? If you see some exhaustion, remember this is a weekly level. So look to see if price is going to push back down before. And this is so ugly. I do not like drawing ugly stuff on YouTube. But once price gets here, look to see if you have some rejection. I don't want to use the bars pattern because, again, I haven't done a top-down analysis on USDCAD in forever. I'm literally telling y'all this by eyeballing, but I have confidence in this trade just because I do see two confluences, which is the weekly level as well as the divergence, but you still need your confirmations for entry, okay? So once price gets here, look to see if we have some exhaustion or if we have some momentum. If we have momentum and this breaks and retests here, then hop in for a buy. Okay. If you see this break and retest here, hop in for a buy. But remember where you are in the market. If you see some exhaustion, it's okay. Just know that price is about to push back down here some more and then probably form a little triangle before we actually break out. Okay, but the reason I'm telling you guys to set your alerts on this is because once you have this alert on here, look to see price break and retest that area. This would be your minor structure, trend line break and retest. This would be your major structure. All right, but you know, the minor always gives us an earlier entry opportunity than overall major structure. And then long term, I'm looking for this to push up. Just again, wait for the consolidation to be over first. So hold on. Let this be your first little level here. First, let that area be first. And then once it breaks that, then look to see it go higher. But because we have like, let me put this a little bit lower. Because we have this all right here, do y'all see this is support, 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 support. Once price gets here, it could easily test as resistance. All right, so let that be like y'all's first TP in that structure. And then that'll end up being from that area, that'll end up being 88 pips. All right, from that trend line break and retest area. Now, again, you could have a better entry if this pushes up and then comes back down and starts to form a triangle here on minor structure. If that starts to form a triangle, then of course your entry would be somewhere down here after that break and retest, after that consolidation. All right, but right now this is buying. If you're like more of a scalper, riskier person, then you can carry this to here, right? But that's only for people who like have experience and kind of know how to read candlestick structure while they're in their positions. Okay. Another thing I was looking at, and I do have to hurry up. I have to pick my sister up from the airport at 9:30. Actually, her flight comes in at 9, but you know, she gotta get bags and stuff. So I'm like, girl, I got my class. I'm not canceling. So you just have to wait for a second. But okay, so we talked about like a while back. I didn't go over GJ last week just because if you weren't in for this entry, y'all know how I am about my fibs. If I don't have a PRZ level, then and you aren't already in the trade, it doesn't make sense to get in the trade because you need confirmation always, right? So this was a while back. I think we talked about this on the Zoom 2 weeks ago also, but price ended up hitting this -27. This was like divergence right here for a buy entry. This was a break and retest for the confirmation of that buy entry here. And then price was literally just rising, 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 rising. Again, I do not have a a fib going in this uptrend structure just because, again, there is no PRZ level. Like it doesn't pull back to negative 23.6 on any of these. So that's why I don't have it going up by. But on 4-hour structure, I have a fib that I hid, which is where price is on a negative 27. So I'm gonna zoom out so y'all can see this. Okay, so y'all know when I go to the higher time frames, because I have a lot of fibs on this, it's gonna look super confusing. So if you do not understand structure, for people who are on YouTube, don't let this hurt your eyes, just follow what I'm saying, okay? So this fib structure is coming from back here. So this is like a 4-hour fib structure here. I'm drawing on top of it. All of these trades that you see in between here are just minor structure. But this overall structure, you have point A to point B, this literally hit like a double bottom right here, then pushed back up. Or you can use your fib and use it from this structure. If you want to say this is your point A and then make this your point B to here. All right, either one. But where we are, all right, because we just hit this negative 27, all right, and I want to go over just what I see on here. Okay, so we have a weekly level a little bit above here. Now we do have some time before we get to it, but I don't foresee price pushing super far up there before our pullback. I actually foresee a pullback happening sooner than later, even though on the daily we're super bullish right here. You see this bullish exhaustion right here. However, on minor structure, right at this negative 27 that we have formed. All right, right at this negative 27 TP that we have right here, we starting to have divergence form. Do y'all see that? We have here, and then we have here. All right. Now, I want you guys to draw a trend line at the bottom of this here. You can actually draw a trend line at the top also, but you never draw trend lines at the top of structure, but what you can do is draw it at the top just as like a triangle formation, because that's what it looks like it's starting to form. It's starting to form a channel. Y'all see that? So let this finish and look to see if that channel goes all the way up to this, right? But I do see a sell happening on here soon. I just don't think it's ready yet. Until you have a break of this right here. And again, the way I don't lose trades is I just never enter nothing I'm not sure about. So you don't enter until you have confirmation. That's super important. So many people just anticipate, like, it's okay if you miss out on a few little pips that you could have got as a reversal, right? Because so many people, what they'll do, they'll enter so early and then they'll end up being in so much drawdown just because they're trying to anticipate that reversal. Wait, like literally wait for that break and retest. It's okay. Like it's okay if you miss out on a few pips, because if you have that confirmation, you can use a larger lot size to make up for whatever it is that you missed. Does that make sense? Like, don't gamble. This is not gambling, it's trading. You need substantial data to confirm your biases at all times, all right? So again, where we are right here, just make, like, I 100% see a sell on this. And it could happen sooner than later just because we are at this negative 27. But until I have a break at the bottom of this, I wouldn't sell this right now. All right? Y'all see? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, and again, the reason I don't have a buy like right here, or the reason I don't have a fib on this buy was just because, again, y'all know what 23.6 means for people that are in the course. So that's why I don't have a fib going up on this structure.
Jess, I have a quick question. So I see that you put your alert on the 1 hour. Do you always put it on the 1 hour, or would you put it on like the 30 or 15 minute because of the entry?
No, none. I don't do it based off a time frame. I do it based off a structure when it comes to the alerts, like just where I need it to go for me to like feel comfortable entering. So that could be on any time frame. Like, I only take my entries on minor structure, but in regards to like the structure that I need to break, that's what I draw my alerts on.
Okay, got you. Thank you.
So like if I'm looking at a minor structure, then it'll be on that minor structure. This, what I'm talking about, like how I talk about how a lot of these people like on YouTube and stuff, they take these trades live. So I try to like teach in a format of where everybody will just know, like, you know what I'm saying? This is what you need to look out for that confirmation. Because a lot of them don't even know how to trade minor structure at all. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Makes
Jess,
perfect sense.
Hey.
can you look at gold?
I'll look at it, but to be honest, I think there are other things that I was trading. But yeah, I'll look at it and then I'm gonna hop
Thank
off
you.
because it's 9 o'clock and I need to go get my sister. Okay, yeah. So gold is gonna go up some more, but just wait for this to. So go to push to here. Just draw a fib at the bottom of this. All right, so this already hit negative 27 here. So yeah, look for this to hit this negative 61.8 at the top, but this structure at the top needs to break first. But overall, this looks like it's gonna go into a buy. But I haven't really looked at gold, so I'm just like doing this real quick. And I don't like doing stuff that I didn't previously look at. I'm just looking at it for you.
Thank you.
No problem. Look to see if this pulls back here before pushing up though.
Thank you.
But yeah, I don't like giving analysis out on stuff that I just didn't look at all or that I'm done with. Like this was, I've been done with this ever since this kind of like pushed down to my TP on that structure. Yeah, but I could see gold going into a buy this week for sure. Look for this to do something like this first. It's not perfect, but if this support breaks, then look for it to push to this trend line before pushing higher. And then as far as this buy, wait for it to push to here first. And then once it pushes to here, again, look to see if it's like bullish momentum. If you see bullish momentum, carry it to that negative 61.8. If it reaches the negative 61.8, then it'll 9 times out of 10 hit this monthly foundation level also. Because if you look left, you see how we have all this consolidation at the top up here at this monthly level. It'll probably be the same over here as well. But yeah, I do see a buy on here. I just want to make sure, because I haven't looked at minor structure on this or nothing. I'm just trying to do it real quick. But yeah. So this just tested as support, but make sure this doesn't break. If this breaks this support, then this will push to here before pushing higher. If it respects this support, then it can just push from where it is now and then here. You see?
See, yeah.
But
Thank
this
you.
first TP, no problem. But this first TP is kind of like already hit at this point. And then you could draw, like, if you go on minor structure though, you could draw like a baby trend line at the top of this. And this will kind of help you like scale your entry. So this trend line I need to make blue because I drew it on the 1 hour. And then this one I'm gonna make purple since I drew it on minor structure. All right, yeah. So look to see how this, because this is consolidating right now. But the way you'll know if it's gonna like break the support or not, if it respects this little minor, but remember this is a minor structure and minor structure can always easily be broken, but the zone is minor structure also. You see how we have this 1 hour structure that's at the top coming from, the blue is 1 hour, minor structure is this little purple. Everybody see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so look at this structure and then, yeah, that's what I see. But just make sure this doesn't give us a pullback to here first, because this trend line bounce, if price pushes to this trend line bounce, then it'll basically be testing this previous resistance and support. You see that?
Right.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome.
All right, you guys. So it's 9:07 and the airport's 30 minutes away, and I am a little bit late, but I love y'all. Okay, and I'll update y'all in a week on this stuff. Yes. Everybody read the chat for the trend line colors if you don't already know them. Dominus wrote it in there. Thank you, Dominus. Okay, now write your goals because I see your face. All right.